You could sense a different enthusiasm for Coach Tang this morning at shoot-around. He feels that his Wildcats team is starting to put together the pieces. We've seen really good 34, 36 minutes from Kansas State in the last two games versus Kansas and Baylor. They need to put together a 40-minute game.
And one of the things they wanted to prevent were the turnovers, and an early one, Hassan trying to go inside to Hawkins, and you've got the lavender uniform tops for Kansas State. That's an homage to one of their older teams. Remember, this is a team that went to the Final Four 4 times from the span of 1948 to 1964. So they go back in time trying to elicit some of the early success. McDaniel comes right into our lap to save it. Jones attacking the cup, nearly lost the rock, and they'll reset it up top. Jones the drive, the floater, and that was knocked in by a West Virginia player who hit the net.
They want more of that from Max Jones, a 6'4" senior. He's really become one of the great Swiss Army knives in the Big 12.
Small will initiate the offense, an early quick double off the ball screen. That was one of the things you want to see how Kansas State defends small. A nice little pass inside by Akani.
It's not just defending Javon Small, it's defending Javon Small in pick and roll action. West Virginia is one of the best pick and roll scoring teams in the country, and we'll talk about that more as the game progresses.
Eduardo Andre with the bucket, the transfer from Fresno State, and a lot of transfers and first-year players for this West Virginia program. As we were talking to Coach DeVries, he said we had to bring in some new players, not a lot of continuity from last year, but the guys have stepped up and have certainly gelled together quickly. Gasson fouled by Andre.
Watch the save from Doug McDaniel. I can guarantee you that those kind of plays are going to be on the film session as Hawkins gets that tip in. That play was kept alive by Doug McDaniel, and Coach Jerome Tang wants as much of that as he possibly can from McDaniel. Those are leadership plays. Won't show up in the stat sheet, but those are leadership plays.
My highlight was you didn't even flinch. He was coming right towards your face, and you're in mid-season form already.
That's right. I'm always ready to take a charge, Jordan.
Gasson is both free throws, and obviously David Gasson is going to be a huge part of any success Kansas State hopes to have tonight.
We're just going to see a lot of pick and roll action, Jordan, from West Virginia. That's what they do best.
Akani again, another high pass inside to Andre. And it's going to be a foul on the floor against Coleman Hawkins. An early first for him.
How good has the 6'11" senior Eduardo Andre been for West Virginia? You know, nobody really talked about him transferring from Fresno State, but brings an enormous amount of energy, especially attacking the rim on both ends of the floor.
You mentioned both ends of the floor. 4th in the league in block shots, and it's found a really nice home here in West Virginia. 10 to shoot. Akani flips it over to Powell. Powell working against Hassan. Fadeaway baseline jumper, skips off the rim, scooped up by Jones.
One of the better individual defensive possessions for Brendan Hassan on that possession.
Hawkins dumps it off. Gasson back up top. They whip it around the horn. Jones open look. Oh, the backspin checks in for Jones.
That's what Kansas State does really well. They are one of the best passing teams in the Big 12, average over 16 assists a game.
The friendly bounce at home gives Kansas State the early 5-point lead. Akani picks up the dribble. Andre trying to back down Gasson. Gasson looking to hold his water. Andre flips it around, a bit off balance. Offensive rebound scooped up by the Mountaineers. Small, his three. No good. Hawkins the board.
Could you tell that Andre did not want to turn to his right shoulder? That's good defense by Kansas State.
From outside.
We told you in the open, Jordan, Kansas State is playing better. There is a renewed purpose and sense of urgency from these Wildcats. They were up on Baylor at halftime.
Jerome Tang said his team just trying to make sure they understand every possession matters. Through, off target for Akani. McDaniel thought about pushing it down. Doug McDaniel, the transfer from Michigan. Long two off the ball screen, buries it. And Mike, that was something Jerome Tang said. Doug McDaniel has to be ready to be decisive in attack because of the way West Virginia defends those ball screens.
He just feels like he gets it now. That there's starting it to be a better intensity from Doug McDaniel on both ends of the floor. That's what has been missing all season, in my opinion, for Kansas State. Nice pass.
O'Connor blocked by Gasson. Jones scoops it up, and it's going to be a jump ball. Possession, West Virginia, but it's a 10-0 Kansas State run.
How about the Wildcats here, getting out running in transition? That's one of the best shooters in the country, ripping a three. This is a big-time run from Kansas State. They're up 10 early.
Try to find that consistency they're looking for.
Yeah, Hassan is one of the best three-point shooters in the Big 12. He's over 40% from three, third best in conference play.
West Virginia has missed their last 6 shots, and you said that's a trend in some of their losses this year. Ripped away by Jones, up ahead to McDaniel. Easy laying. It's a 12-0 run.
You do not see the pocket getting picked by Javon Small very often. I mean, that almost never happens with the ball in his hands.
2 early steals for the Wildcats. They've only been averaging 5 steals a game this season. KJ Tenner checking into the game for West Virginia, number 3, along with Amani Hansberry. Hansberry working against Jones, fading away, and that's going to be a foul against Jones, and that'll be his first.
Off and running Kansas State. Look at the defense by Jones. Stops the crossover from Javon Small. That is great on-ball defense and awareness by Max Jones.
And that was going to be the challenge for West Virginia. They came in shooting just under 43% from the field. Where are they going to get their scoring from?
I'll tell you right now, they're going to see how often are they going to switch. You've got Hassan on Small. Almost got the slip there. Now you've got McDaniel on him, chasing him.
Shot clock winding down. Small launches from up top. No. Gasson on the board.
And you live with that if you're Kansas State. Excellent defense, switching back and getting McDaniel on to Javon Small.
McDaniel flips it over. Hawkins to Gasson, 10 to shoot. Hawkins, McDaniel, open tray. In and out. But to your point, would Kansas State stay at home or risk the switch where Small can pick his opportunities?
And we've seen in a few games of where teams will try to pick on Brendan Hassan, and they would hunt for him when Hassan was on defense and trying to get the mismatch. So far, Kansas State is sticking with the game plan that they've had all season of switching those guard-on-guard screens, those dribble handoffs, and smaller ball screen actions.
David Castillo, the freshman from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. C.J. Jones, the transfer from Illinois Chicago, will check in for the Wildcats. Then a foul, and if this is against Hawkins, it's not. It's going to be against Castillo, a hold. So Castillo picking up his first. Hawkins already with 1 foul, so keep an eye on that. O'Connell will check back in for Powell.
The execution on that baseline out of bounds play from West Virginia was not there at all. Coach DeFries was not happy. He had 2 players that just didn't run the right play.
O'Connell to inbound. Kansas State has had stretches in their last couple of games where they're playing terrific basketball for 30 to 32 minutes. They're trying to put together a full game. Yesufu circulates the air. Jones down the floor, dumps it up to Hawkins. Oh, almost rocked the rim. Kansas State will control. Gasson will tee one up. Too strong. This place would have exploded.
No question about it. He brought it back, too.
Just like the jerseys here. Gasson trying to trap Tenner in the corner, and Gasson picks up a foul. That'll be the 14th foul already against the Wildcats.
We're seeing the Wildcats get out and run in transition as often as they can so far to start this half. And this missed dunk would have brought the absolute house down in the octagon of doom.
Well, Mike, I know you're familiar with dunking, and as you bring that thing up low and not gather it, sometimes that orange can slip out of your hand. Like you're used to, correct?
I mean, that really does hurt my feelings a little bit. I'm really good on an 8-foot rim. Really good.
Well, how about this? Last Saturday at Kansas, they started the game trailing 14-0, only lost by 10. Can't really spot the Jayhawks 14 points on the road, but today, 14-2 beginning off a 12-0 run that's currently going. Small, trying to lean into the defender. Disciplined defense there by C.J. Jones. McDaniel racing it down the floor, picks up the foul. Foul against K.J. Tenner.
You see the way that Jones actually jumps back as Javon Small is jumping in to draw the foul. Like you said it, that's the perfect word. Discipline and awareness defensively. It's no secret. Kansas State wants to run in transition in this game. They're getting out and pushing, whether it's turnovers or missed shots. Kansas State has 2 kills already in the first half. A kill is when a team gets 3 stops in a row. Coaches chart that. Kansas State already has 2 of them.
West Virginia shooting 1 for 10. Float game strong for one. C.J. Jones on the baseline.
This offense that we're seeing from Kansas State is against a top 20 defense in the country.
Tenner trying to shake the defender. Off key there. Hawkins controls. Coach Tang calling for a set on the other end. We've gone on Yenso, checking in. They try to go up top to him. Passes a little off target on Yenso, trying to keep it alive. Hawkins able to scoop it up. McDaniel contested 3. Knocks it down in the corner. West Virginia needs a timeout, and the Wildcats come out roaring. State 17-0 run, 5 assists on 7 made baskets.
Now shooting 64% from the field, and they're humming on both ends of the floor. All of the offense you're seeing, so far for me, has been a direct correlation to how good they've been playing defensively. Deflections, steals, getting rebounds, blocking out, and pushing in transition. Everything working for Kansas State right now.
2 steals and a block, and keep in mind, Kansas State is just 5-4 at home this season. They've had a winning home record every year since 1946, and it was a very difficult non-conference slate for them. But we've talked to Coach Jerome Tang. He said, this team is starting to figure it out. And even though we're facing this adversity, we're not quitting. And to see them, I think, Mike, battle hard on the road. Because you know it's easy to nail it in sometimes on the road when things aren't going well. Think about what it means when you come back home, you start a game on this run with the juice that's in this building. No question about it. And the fans obviously appreciate it here at Bramlage and Kansas State. But we need to go back. A good 34 minutes against Kansas, not enough. A good 34 minutes against Baylor, not enough. A great start this afternoon. Can they sustain it? Small fouled in midair and can a trip to the free throw line. That's going to be the second foul on Coleman Hawkins. Can that allow Small to start to build a little momentum here as the Kansas State star picks up a second? There are very few players in the country who I would trust to get themselves back into the game quickly than Javon Small. He knows things aren't going well. Get to the free throw line, see the ball go in the rim. And this is a player that season end today would be an All-American. Leads the Big 12 in scoring. Big 12 is the best defensive conference in the country. And this is something he does exceptionally well. Getting to the free throw line, and then it's the guy you want. He's at 89% from the free throw line. You mentioned All-American. Sporting News named him to the midseason All-American team, the transfer from Oklahoma State. And when we were talking to Coach DeVries, he said, I had to convince him that he could win at West Virginia. And obviously DeVries in his first season didn't have the track record yet at West Virginia, but DeVries had mentioned building the culture was the first thing he wanted to do, and it's been evident in this 13-5 start for the Mountaineers. Well, that was his first recruit he wanted. He didn't have a roster. Not just about building. He didn't have a roster. And Javon Small asked him, you know, well, what's it going to look like? Who's going to play with me to help me win? He goes, well, I've got one. My son, Tucker DeVries. That's one. And Tucker DeVries out indefinitely with an upper body injury, and Tucker DeVries is averaging over double figures, nearly 15 points a game, so a key missing piece. McDaniel blocked out of bounds by Sincere Harris, and the Mountaineers trying to just get back into this one. That's good recovery by Harris, and it's, you know, I don't think it's by accident.
You come out of that timeout for West Virginia, you're not playing well. Coach DeFries, obviously animated, rightly so. All of a sudden, Javon Small gets to the free throw line, knocks down a pair of free throws, and you sense the renewed energy from West Virginia on the ball.
McDaniel, 5 to shoot, has drawn 2 defenders and a reach in at the last second. And you go back to disciplined defense, a situation like that where West Virginia talks about gap discipline and help discipline on defense.
I actually thought that was good help defense from West Virginia. I'm not so sure about that foul.
Well, we agree to disagree sometimes, Mike O'Donnell.
That's the first time that we've agreed to disagree on the season.
So chance for Kansas State to reset. The Wildcats 7 of 12 for 58% from the field.
Look how far out that West Virginia pushes Kansas State.
McDaniel, his long 2, checks up, no good. And Harris will bring it back down the floor. Hansberry, his look, misses everything. Powell able to scoop it up, 18 to shoot. Small, cutting, Small with the big jam.
Doesn't have to make the three-point shot. He doesn't have to make the spectacular pass. He just has to make the right play.
And for West Virginia, you're on the road, Mike. It's just a matter of chipping away one possession at a time. You can't get it all back in one trip down the floor. McDaniel keeps it alive.
That was smooth, keeping it alive off the bounce like that. That was tough.
Gasson with a tough finish on the other end.
Love David Gasson's game. He is the ultimate energy guy.
And the crowd thought Gasson deflected that off the knee of a West Virginia player. And it looked to be that way in real time.
That's what Coach Tang is calling for right now.
O'Connor will sub back in for Andre. Here's another look.
That looked like off West Virginia.
So the Mountaineers get away with one here. Small gets in about 5-second violation.
And Jerome Tang with the huge fist bump. Every time you get an air fist pump from your head coach, that's a big deal.
So more turnovers than made field goals. West Virginia with 6 points, Mike, and we played nearly 10 minutes of basketball.
Yeah, they're 2 of 13 from the field. The turnovers is one thing, but I would say the shot selection has been, below average. Not what we're accustomed to seeing from a West Virginia team that is normally very efficient in the half court.
They're coming off the heels of a loss at home to Arizona State, in which they shot just north of 30% from the field, under 20% from 3.
Yeah, 4 of 29 from the three-point line. They're going to shoot a lot of threes, though. Top 40 in the country in three-point attempts. No way this goes in.
Are you kidding me? Nearly made it. Unbelievable range from Hassan. Had to hoist that up as the shot clock was winding down. Small, working the handle. Excellent on-ball defense from C.J. Jones. Harris, his 3, no good. West Virginia now 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. Hawkins with those 2 fouls, barrels his way to the lane and picks up another foul against West Virginia. This time against O'Connor.
If energy is contagious, then cutting is contagious as well. This is moving without the basketball. It's exactly what West Virginia needs more of. Movement and paint touches. Movement and paint touches. But you have to give a lot of credit to the Wildcats defense, especially their on-ball defense. It's been stout.
The efficiency of the Kansas State offense early in this game. 6 assists to just 1 turnover. You know Jerome Tang loves that. Hassan curling. Still has plenty of time to work with here. Hawkins. Fade away off one leg, too strong. Under 10 minutes left here in the first half. Just 2 field goals in this game so far.
They like that switch. Gasson on Small. Now they're able to switch back. McDaniel's on him.
Hansberry trying to turn the corner himself. Pivoting, keeps the foot down. Pump fake, had a chance with Hawkins right there. Gasson's going to be called for the push. We mentioned the struggles for West Virginia against Arizona State. This was coming off a victory against #2 Iowa State, and you see the shooting and the scoring, and that was the concern for Coach DeVries, is where does our scoring come from? We've been struggling getting the ball in the hoop here.
And Coach DeVries wasn't necessarily worried about the outside shooting as he was his gap defense. He felt that his team's half-court defense, they were able to spread out too much. Got another look for Small. You want to miscommunication defensively by Kansas State. Good execution by the Mountaineers.
Small now 2 of 5 with 6 points. Even though the scoring's been slow for West Virginia, 13-point game, still plenty of time left here in the first half. Kansas State has gone a little quiet ever since their ferocious start. Hawkins splits 2 defenders with the ball. What a move!
Wow. That was elite ball handling from a 6'10" point forward in Coleman Hawkins.
You hear a lot of NBA guards talk about splitting the double team by pushing that ball out there, and that was next level. Small buries the 3, much needed for the Mountaineers.
That's Small's shot, and when they need a 3, his step back 3, he's always driving to the left to get a bucket. He drives to the left over 75% of the time as a right-handed player because he's trying to get to that inside pocket shoulder with his right arm.
Jones, he knocks down a step back 3.
Jones has been excellent on both ends of the floor this afternoon.
C.J. Jones came in shooting 41% from 3. Kansas State now 4 of 7 from outside. Small, wrapped up by 2 defenders. It's Hawkins that's able to scoop it up. McDaniel, 2-on-1 to Jones up top. Feathers it in. O'Connor, the drive, lowers the shoulder, and that's going to be an and one, a foul as he was going up. And that'll slow things down here for West Virginia.
Bramlage is off the charts. We got 3s, we got lobs, we got Wildcats out running.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season, 4 new bombshells enter the villa. Not them, 4 free 5G phones.
State both teams have hit their last 3 shots. Well, West Virginia, we mentioned it, one of the great stories in college basketball, picked to finish 13th in the Big 12, now eyeing a tournament berth.
Yeah, I think a 4 or 5 seed is the likely scenario come the NCAA tournament selection Sunday. Tournament resume, those wins, Iowa State, Gonzaga, Kansas. Don't forget about Arizona as well.
And Javon Small, it's been a little bit of a slow start for him, especially in the early going.
He seemed lackadaisical in the beginning. Didn't see the normal energy we see from him. He can't get any good looks. A lot of credit goes to the defense of Kansas State, finding ways to slow him down. He was able to get a couple buckets a few possessions ago, cutting for a dunk, step back 3. You know, he's the one guy. You get that one step back 3, he can find his rhythm. There's no stopping him unless you double him.
It's interesting for Kansas State. We've talked about what they needed to do defensively in games, especially when you're facing against someone like Small. Jerome Tang said you can never let up against him.
Yep.
A little up and down his last 2 performances. Was sensational against Iowa State, had 12 points in the last 2 minutes of that game, but then struggled from beyond the arc against Arizona State.
Well, he really is the ultimate competitor. And if he goes 8 for 8 from 3 or 0 for 8 from 3, you're never doubting how hard Javon Small plays. It's something that Coach DeVries told us. He goes, I wish people would really understand how much of a competitor he is. All he cares about is winning. The stats don't matter.
O'Connor had some tip to the bill, and West Virginia still trailing by 14 because Kansas State was able to match their last little rally. Castillo, Jones, Hawkins, Hassan, and Onyenso in right now for the Wildcats. Hawkins, the drive, and he's going to be fouled as Hassan right now at the stanchion took a shot you don't want to take. And that foul is going to be on O'Connor, his second personal. So Hansberry will check back in for him. And early on with Coleman Hawkins, when we did the Texas Tech game about 2 weeks ago, we had heard from Jerome Tang he wanted him to be more aggressive. It feels like you've seen Hawkins try to drive it more here in the half court. Here's Hassan, his 3, rattles home. Haasen, 6 points, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. The lead back to 17 for Kansas State.
A good gap defense by Coleman Hawkins. Small tried to turn the corner.
Andre with the left off target. Kansas State 5 of 8 from 3 in the first half. Hawkins, the runner, no good. Small will bring it back down. Small has his sights set on the rim. Onyenso comes over late. Hansberry right there to clean it up. Castillo picks up the dribble. 15 to shoot. Hawkins still being patient. Hawkins working against Hansberry. Hawkins, pump fake out to Jones. 3 to shoot. Jones will have to do something with it. His jumper well off target, so a great stop for the Mountaineers.
That's the Mountaineers defense that we've seen all season long. Top 20 defense in the country.
Powell, clean look for him. And Powell still looking for his first points of the game.
If Brendan Haasen in baseline out of bounds, he's going to the corner. This is his favorite play because he's going to get a screen, and his ability to get to the corner and shoot the 3. Right-handed players actually love running left to shoot the 3 because you can get your right elbow in quicker for your energy transfer on your release.
When you were defending those and you were trailing a shooter like Haasen and you know your beat, did you ever yell switch just to make sure somebody would get out to him and prevent that shot?
Depends on who the last player was on my team. That was the last screener. It's possible that you can do that, but you get a player like Haasen, you have to top lock and hold him as much as you can. It's zero breathing room. He only needs a fraction of a space to get a shot off.
McDaniel thought about it for a moment. Now with the shot clock winding down, might have to fight for a tough one. McDaniel fouled as he goes up, and that's going to be against Tenor. Tenor now with his second foul. Well, this defense, we mentioned it, one of the top 20 in the NCAA. They've yielded 31 points already in this half.
You get a sense of this game. You know, we can talk analytics and stats all we want, but it just feels like Kansas State is the aggressor to start this first half. And it's almost as if West Virginia is playing on their heels. And I'm highlighting it because I haven't seen that all season from West Virginia. Haven't, not one game.
Kansas State has also been incredibly efficient. 9 assists on 12 made baskets. They're shooting 54%. That top 20 defense for West Virginia was giving up just 39% shooting coming into this one. Lead is back up to the largest of the game for Kansas State as McDaniel picks up Tenor full court. A.J. Tenor, the freshman from Memphis. Hansberry, he can hit that.
Just hasn't been shooting it like they expected him to. He's an excellent player, just a sophomore, transfer from Illinois.
McDaniel lost it. Onyenso able to volleyball it as Moby Ike-Garuke in the game also helped in on that. And the officials are going to call timeout and probably take a look at the shot clock here. So Kansas State, we've mentioned, looking for their first win of the 2025 calendar, sitting at 7-11 on the season. Right now the officials, like we said, trying to determine the shot clock, whether or not West Virginia had possession here for a moment. Because you saw a West Virginia player get the loose ball from McDaniel and nearly control it as he was trying to save it to his team.
It's a good ball fake by Jones. You want to watch his game. He always feels like he's under control. He's got good pace to him, never sped up.
Jones, the transfer from Cal State Fullerton. Coach Jerome Tang said he's always played with a chip on his shoulder. This is the other Jones, CJ, who was short at the rim.
That was good defense by the freshman, Jonathan Powell, because they went ISO on that play to get Jones on Powell, one-on-one.
Really haven't seen West Virginia try to punish some of these switches thus far. Powell, that's going to be some hands on Jones on the drive. Been some tough sledding for Kansas State, as we mentioned. And you look at some of the losing streaks amongst the Power 4 conferences, and Kansas State sitting at 6, but it feels as though the Wildcats are playing better and better, even though they're getting these losses.
You could see it in the Kansas game. There was a tremendous amount of fight. Then we definitely saw it in their last game versus Baylor. They lost 70-62. They were up by 4 at halftime. Free throws and fouls just really hurt Kansas State in the second half. Baylor was 17 of 21 in the free throw line.
In that game, Baylor scored on all but one possession in the final 10 minutes. And that's going to be the question for Kansas State now. With this 17-point lead, can they continue to build upon it and put this game away? Coach Tang has said, we've let teams get back in when we've had these double-digit leads. Lawson has to hoist it up. No whistle. He was looking for the foul, and that'll bounce out of bounds. So Kansas State comfortably in control here in the first half.
Teams that were just up there. West Virginia's net ranking is 37. Louisville's 24 for first-year head coach Pat Kelsey at Louisville. St. John's at 26 in the net ranking. How about Darren DeFries, top 40 net ranking.
And the challenge for any new coach when you come in, you're putting together so many new players, is establishing that culture and getting everybody to buy in, especially with new roles. But it's been a remarkably quick fit here for the Mountaineers.
They were really detailed in the offseason on who they wanted to get in the transfer portal and how they wanted to build. It was a specific type of player for their offense and defensive system that they wanted to run.
They pop it away from Hansberry. Jones, some excellent footwork at the rim.
That's defense to offense again for the Wildcats. They're stealing the ball off the dribble.
5 steals now for the Wildcats as they got another paw on one. Small. Possibly a lob there to Andre. A little indecision as McDaniel.
He got caught in between throwing the lob and should I shoot it.
McDaniel, no questions there, and it's a 21-point lead for Kansas State.
Wow.
Small with 9. Only 3 other players for West Virginia have scored, and that's going to be a foul on C.J. Jones as he tied up Small.
This is off the bounce. Hansberry can't handle it. A great step through, almost a high pickup player development move from Jones. McDaniel with the runner, same foot, same arm. Tough finish for McDaniel. He's got 11 points, 5 assists.
And Jerome Tang was really high on McDaniel during shoot-around about how much he's improved over the last couple of games. And not just his scoring, but doing all the things that they want him to do as a point guard to help this team be successful.
And that's a miss from the 5th best free throw shooter in the Big 12. It is not the afternoon right now for West Virginia. Nothing going right.
And the front end as well of a 1-and-1. Now Kansas State can be as patient as they want to here. McDaniel getting the screen. You see the big drop. Flips it up on Yenso right there to clean things up.
Paint touch after paint touch after paint touch for Kansas State in the half court offensively.
16 of the 39 coming in the paint for Kansas State. Small draws 2 defenders. Austin holding his ground. Andre keeping that right foot down on Yenso. Swats it away. 4 to shoot. Hansberry from outside. No good. Ike Garuke with the board. Wildcats 5 of 9 from 3. They've hit them when they needed them. Under 1:30 left here in the first half. And you see Kansas State just taking a measured approach to each possession here. McDaniel on balance on Yenso. Another offensive rebound. They can't stop him. Picks up the foul. That's going to be whistled against Andre, his second.
This is just effort plays. More effort and activity crashing the glass by Kansas State and on Yenso. You could even see Andre holding the jersey of Onyenso with his right hand.
Ugana Onyenso, the junior, transfer from Kentucky, tied a Rupp Arena record with 10 blocks against Ole Miss last season and is pure from the charity stripe. That's correct, a 26-point lead for Kansas State as we step aside.
USAA.
Kansas State's led to some easy offense.
Get out and run. I mean, this is getting a steal off of an All-American, one of the best point guards in the country, Javon Small. And once you get a steal, they do more than just come up with the possession. They're looking to attack. They've been the aggressor all game long. Every deflection, every steal has led to a fast break opportunity for Kansas State, and they are completely dominating the Mountaineers in this game.
Jerome Tang stirring up an excellent performance here in the first half. It's the second double-digit run for Kansas State, and the second time in this first half that West Virginia has been on a 5-minute-plus scoring drought. It's a very animated huddle for West Virginia. Okani was very vocal towards his teammates. Onyenso, another block. Onyenso trying to clean it up. And it's Castillo that recoups it. Well, coming up, AT&T at the half. Brent Stover, Roy Hibbert, and John Rothstein will get you caught up on this game and all the other action around the country. It's all coming up on AT&T at the half. And we took a snowy walk out to the track and saw that Brent Stover's name is on a nameplate by the track where he used to tear it up in the 10K, ran cross country here for the Wildcats, still looking for his retired singlet. But you go to any local restaurant and they talk about the legend of one Brent Stover here in Manhattan, Kansas.
I haven't heard anybody talk about Brent Stover here in Manhattan, Kansas. I don't know what you're talking about.
Trying to gas up our
singlet and legend. You can't. He wasn't that good. Come on. Brent's the best. We love Brent.
And Andre with the easiest look of the half for West Virginia as he slams it home. Just north of 30 seconds left. Castillo gets it in. 2-second differential between shot and game clock here for Kansas State. Tenor to defend. Tenor sitting on 2 fouls.
They look for Hassan here. He's at the free throw line. They'll do a guard-on-guard screen. Where does he pop to?
Castillo doesn't use the screen and loses the ball. Powell tries to get it ahead, but it's deflected. One more look for Jones. And he might have been a little too late. He banks it in, but that came in after the horn, I'm pretty sure, Mike O'Donnell. But that's been the kind of half for Kansas State. And now it's a matter of closing things out.
The mature team would not let their offense and defense be affected by if you're making shots. The defense has to stay aggressive, which it was in the first half. They won the energy battle in the first half. Can they maintain that in the second half?
West Virginia, top 20 scoring defense coming into this game, giving up just under 68 points per game, and now 42 in the first half for Kansas State, and we have a foul whistled against the Mountaineers, and that'll go against Harris. Small was the leading scorer for West Virginia, had 9 points, 3 of 8. The rest of his team 4 for 21 in the first half. For Kansas State, McDaniel with 11. Jones with 7 off the bench. Onyenso with 5 off the bench. Max Jones, though, with the turnover. Small sprinting ahead in transition. Whoa. That was like the beginning of a triple jump as he is able to get to the cup.
Did you run track in college or something?
I dabbled, they would say, at the University of Oregon.
That was big time by Javon Small. That possession defensively was all him, too, because he blew up that baseline out of bounds play from Hassan and got the steal as well.
There's going to be another foul whistled against Powell, but here it is one more time.
He blows up the baseline out of bounds play, doesn't let Hassan get the 3, gets the steal, and that's one of the biggest Euro steps you will see in transition. That was awesome from the potential All-American.
We talk about early starts when you have the lead, a turnover leading to a transition bucket, not what Jerome Tang is looking for. Jones curling, nearly connecting on the 3, but chases down his own miss. What a hustle play. and then picks up another foul against West Virginia.
This is just a hustle play. Following your own shot, it almost never happens in the modern game of basketball. That's Powell, got to stay with the play, freshman.
It's the second baseline out of bounds play that Kansas State has ran, where they've gotten a very clean look in the corner for a three.
They love to go to the corners. They got him again.
Here's the third one. Hassan for three. Can't cash in.
Clean look though. Fool's goal defense.
Then Hassan gambles just a little bit. Harris in the paint. Now it's Small with Hassan defending. We go to Hansberry. Hansberry facing the double team. Small with another quick cut. Misses it, but right there to put it away is Okani.
You want to show me the IQ of a player offensively. Show me what he does without the basketball. And that's Javon Small cutting with a purpose to keep that possession alive.
Doesn't he have some of the hardest cuts you've seen in real time just the second he puts his foot on the floor?
Well, a good hard scoring cut sets the table for the rest of the possession. He gets that hard scoring cut and he doesn't score, but what does that do? It leaves an open offensive rebounding lane.
A little helter-skelter for a moment. They're letting him play. Hassan able to get the loose rock. He kicks it head to Jones.
Nice pass.
And then Gasson right there with the smash attack. Small with McDaniel defending. They'll move it around a little bit. Here's Powell as Small comes off a pair of screens.
Good chase by McDaniel.
And then a foul as Small puts it up, and McDaniel had his hand in the cookie jar. So it's a loaded Big 12 this year, and let's take a look at your best players.
Yeah, well, Javon Small, he's my pick for Big 12 Player of the Year, leading the Big 12 in scoring. Hunter Dickinson, obviously, double-double machine, one of the great players in college basketball. And then Curtis Jones, one of the best stories, individual stories in the country, Iowa State. Curtis Jones gets almost 19 a game. He was coming off the bench for the majority of the season. And they did not give Javon Small a shooting foul. You and I both look like that had to be a shooting foul.
The timing of when he elevated as well, too. You see that all the time, especially in the NBA, of guys just ripping it up, being able to draw the foul. Instead of 3 free throws, it's an offensive set, but a clean one as Harris gets his first field goal and first points of the game.
You know what's working for West Virginia in the half court right now is their off-ball cutting.
Yep.
And it's not just the passing, it's the off-ball cutting for West Virginia that is dialed in now.
McDaniel, a heartbreaker at the cup, and here comes West Virginia. Harris loses his footing, but Small right there to scoop it up. And that's going to be a foul against McDaniel. And McDaniel now with 2.
This is the type of offense that West Virginia wants to run. You draw multiple defenders, a good, strong side cut from Harris, and it's a finish.
Darren DeVries, keep in mind his son Tucker DeVries, who averages just under 15 points a game, out indefinitely with an upper body injury. So despite their success this season, missing one of their primary scorers. Small, nice find down low, and the finish for Okani. That's one thing you lose track of with Small. He's such a capable scorer, but unbelievable vision.
Top 5 in the Big 12 in assists. It's surgical with that thing.
It's a 10-2 West Virginia run. They've whittled this lead down to 18. Hawkins trying to fish for a foul. Doesn't get it.
A lot of contact there.
Okani, the roll, trying to get the finish off the window. Offensive rebound, and he's fouled. And this is Hawkins. That'll be his third. It is.
Take a look at this baseline out of bounds play. You get one screen first, the second screen, and Small is able to curl all the way down, draw multiple defenders for the pass. You know, those are all-American type plays. Things aren't working. You run your offense, you find ways to make the right play. Not just the scoring play for yourself, but the right play.
The foul was not on Hawkins. They just changed it to Gasson. So Hawkins will remain with 2 fouls, and Small wrestled to the floor. That's going to be possession in West Virginia.
You know, Jordan, you and I have talked a lot about this because you'll get games in which sometimes the refs will call it the same way for the entire 40 minutes. Sometimes there's an adjustment after halftime that's made. They might be calling it tighter. They might be letting you play a little bit more. You have to feel that as a player, both offensively and defensively, and adjust accordingly. That's the game within the game that gets lost a lot of times. You can complain all you want, but you have to adjust.
Mike, we've got another coach fist bump, and this time is from DeFries, as it's now a 13-2 run, and he is fired up as West Virginia has found new life here in the second half. They trailed by as many as 26, now it's 15.
The passing, the cutting, the movement, little rhythm offensively for West Virginia, trying to get back into it.
In the second half, Mike.
7-0 run in the last minute and 28. It's the off-ball movement, the offensive rebounding. You can dive into it schematically all you want. The energy and effort is different in the second half for West Virginia. It is. They've been better. They've been more aggressive than Kansas State has to start the second half.
An incredible difference in the field goals just from the first half. They had 7 total in 20 minutes, and in the first 4 minutes of the second half, they have 5 made field goals already. And it's been the opposite for Kansas State. They shot the ball very well in the first half, now 1 for 6. How do the Wildcats start to get some of those consistent, clean looks they had in the first half?
Well, running their offense and not just looking for the first quick shot, right, is number one. You always feel like you'd like to get Hassan going if you can. He opens up everything up from a spacing standpoint. They're going right to Hawkins here, ISO.
And the ISO works as Hawkins backs down his defender and gets the easy 2. Still a 13-4 run at the moment for West Virginia. Harris being patient as a matchup against Hawkins. Harris, the quick switch as Jones helps. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Hansberry has to fire it. An excellent defense from the Wildcats.
It was a great double, right when it felt like there was an opening.
Hawkins again knifing through the lane and can't get it to fall, but he draws another foul as Kansas State and Coleman Hawkins still cooking.
Patience in the post, 6'10", can step out from 3, can go over top. Good bucket.
In this game, but a 4th foul whistled on O'Connie, and now he has to go to the bench, and that starts to chisel away at some of the front court depth for West Virginia.
No question about it. That means Hansberry has to be extra active on both ends of the floor. These are really important minutes for Eduardo Andre as well.
And 3 fouls on Andre.
They matched up on Gasson. If we know that, the Kansas State coaching staff knows that, and they all looked like they were going to originally go to ISO there with Gasson.
Hassan, a rare 2-pointer, bothered at the summit. Jones keeps it alive. McDaniel, the pump fake. Jones left wide open. The lefty knocks down the tray.
Unselfishness from Kansas State, in particular. Brendan Hassan turning down the contested 3 for a more open look.
We love a possession where Max Jones keeps it alive and he gets rewarded with a wide open triple. Small draws the foul on Hawkins, and that will be number 3 against Hawkins.
Hassan gets a good look at the rim. It was an excellent contest by Andre, but then Jones keeping the play alive, dives on the floor, and he's out of the picture. And if you're going to stay out of the picture, you might as well come in the picture. Come over to the top of the key, rip a 3. Kansas State just making plays here in this game that we haven't seen this season.
For Kansas State, it's the hustle to get to the board, but for West Virginia, you've gone back and watched game film. Moments where players just are standing still and not putting a body in anybody as they review the 3-pointer for Jones. Clearly a 3, and
they're checking to see who the foul's on as well.
Yeah, and they were trying to determine if that was a 3-pointer for Small, and that is a foul on the 3-point shot, so he's going to go to the line for 3 free throws, Mike.
Certainly one of the last players you want at the free throw line. He's an All-American candidate, leading scorer in the Big 12, top 5 in the Big 12 in free throw percentage. Watch him bait the ball fake, and he doesn't lean in right away. He waits long enough for Hawkins to get into his cylinder before he jumps into a play. I've seen him do that every single game this season. He's such a high IQ scorer.
First one's good for Small, now up to 12 points. Small came into this game averaging 19.5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And just the tenacity and the ferociousness he plays with. And Coach DeVries said, we know he brings it every single game on both ends of the floor, and it really permeates with the rest of his team.
He's going to draw at least 5 fouls a game. And usually 3 or 4 of those are shooting fouls. It's not like he's just putting his head down and drawing a foul. He's always looking to bait the defender to jump, because you have to worry about the 3. He's, especially off the bounce, he's one of the best shooters off the dribble in the Big 12. Does a great job baiting the individual defender to draw the foul.
Now the Kansas State offense with Hawkins on the bench, and this is a steal, a clean one. Harris right to the rim as he rocks it. 15-point lead for Kansas State. They led by 26 at half.
You can sense uneasiness in the building right now.
Get the sense for West Virginia, if they can make this a 12 or 10-point game with 10 minutes left, they would love that. But it's Jones that sneaks to the cup.
Max Jones is the Swiss Army knife of the Big 12. He's so efficient and under control. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for Jones.
And it's Andre. Some easy buckets in the paint for West Virginia here in the second half.
And you can see Coach DeVries screaming at his defense to get locked in, because they found flow and rhythm offensively in the half court.
It's interesting because the defense has been their strong point all season long. Giving up just 64 points a game. Kansas State at 51. McDaniel can't get the floater. And another offensive rebound. This one's deflected out of bounds by Small. The 9th offensive rebound for Kansas State, and both these teams were in the bottom 2 in the Big 12 in rebounding. And right now it's Kansas State with a 27-22 rebounding advantage. West Virginia switching on the screen, a rarity for them. And Jones loses it, recouped by Andre.
Got a mismatch in the post. They still have him.
Hansberry was calling for it. They didn't see him in time. Still has it. Credit Kansas State for being enough of a distraction. Small wants to clear things out for Hansberry. Hansberry sees 2, but flying over is Gasson, who erases the shot.
Gasson saves the day, because Javon Small cleared out his teammate because he saw the mismatch in the post. That was all Gasson coming from the weak side, timing up this block perfectly.
4 blocks and 6 steals for Kansas State in this game. They average just 2.5 blocks per game, so the defense has shown up this evening for the Wildcats. 5 to shoot. Small. Eyes the shot clock, fires the 3, misses everything. And now you see Small trying to shout some instructions to his teammates. And
someone else needs to get going for West Virginia, but that is part of the issue offensively for them. And a guy that I think you need to look for is the freshman, Jonathan Powell. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the Big 12, and he has 0 points, has only taken 2 shots.
And Powell averaging just under 10 points a game coming into this one tonight. And that was the question for West Virginia. Who else would show up? 7 to shoot. McDaniel flips it over. It's Gasson on the perimeter, has to do something with it. Skirts to the cup and draws the foul as it rolls in. Big time bucket for Gasson.
And was that foul on Andre? Because if that's true, that is his 4th foul So now you've got Toby Akani with 4 fouls and Eduardo Andre with 4 fouls. This is a major issue in the front court for West Virginia.
So interestingly enough, Tenor at 6 feet tall will check in for Andre, who's 6'11". You see the front court foul trouble for West Virginia. Andre and Okani each with 4, and we still have 12 minutes left to play in this game, Mike.
That means that boxing out must be perfect while they wait to get the front court players in.
Small, it's tough. Step back jumper. Ike Garuke skied for that rebound. I gotta say,
Quietly
Mike,
had a really nice game. Yeah, he's had a nice game off the bench for the Wildcats.
Castillo whips a pass. Small, had a beat on it. This time spinning against McDaniel. Dumps it off Harris. Excellent finish in transition.
Another assist from Javon Small. 4th of the afternoon.
Kansas State has seemed to have an answer whenever West Virginia makes it about a 15 or 16-point game. Can the Wildcats continue to maintain this cushion?
I'd go to Gasson here. You've got the mismatch.
Oh, picked again. It's Small in the open floor, and he is cleared for takeoff.
Back-to-back steals by Javon Small.
It's now 7 steals for West Virginia, and the lead has been trimmed to 14, and you see a lot of arms crossed in the stands right now.
It's a great time to go into Gasson.
And a foul. Looks like it's going to be whistled against Powell in this situation.
You want to be an All-American, you got to make All-American plays on the road. Back-to-back steals for Javon Small, making plays in transition, keeping the Mountaineers in it.
So we're down.
Tight between these two as the last 2 meetings in Manhattan have both reached overtime. December 31st, 2022, Kansas State rallied from an 11-point halftime deficit to earn the win. And then last year, West Virginia trailed by 25 to force overtime, but Kansas State held on to win 94-90. Keep in mind, West Virginia trailed by 24 at half.
Something that's so important for West Virginia, and we mentioned it briefly. Javon Small has been great in this game. 16 points, 4 assists, 3 steals. Not just for this game, but for the rest of the season, there needs to be a second guy. There has to be a second guy. With Tucker DeVries out indefinitely, don't know when he's going to come back or if he's going to come back. There has to be a consistent number 2 for West Virginia. 2 or 3 guys that can give you 10, that can get you 12, that can get you 13.
And Tucker DeVries was giving them 15 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists, and has not played since December 6th because of an upper body injury. Still undetermined as far as when he'll come back, but it was interesting. I was talking to Coach DeVries about coaching your son, because I played for my dad, and he said Tucker didn't call him by coach or dad early on, and finally found a title to call coach and just would call him Darren.
How great is that? What did you call your dad?
Nothing, because I knew if I called him dad on accident in practice, I would never hear it from my teammates. It might have evolved to an EK or something.
I would have grounded you. That's embarrassing. You wouldn't call your dad dad? Come on, man.
No. Not on the court.
I know, I get it. I get it.
But he talked about DeVries. What's so special about coaching your son is you miss so many of the games when they're younger, but now you get to be there for every single moment at the highest level of basketball for them.
In the trips, they took an overseas trip, being there with your son. You get opportunities to be on the road, you know, in the hotel, team meals. Those are special times. I mean, how many parents get to enjoy that at the highest level of basketball? A very cool thing. Tucker's he's, by the way, just one of the best wing scorers in college basketball in the last few years. He's having a great start to the season as well.
Keep in mind, he still has the option for a red shirt. He hasn't played enough games yet to burn that, so that's something to keep in the pocket. Now it's Kansas State. Do they have an answer? Hawkins back on the floor with those 3 fouls. We saw him miss the free throw. Shot clock winding down. Gasson, he'll try the 3. Too strong. And here come the Mountaineers, a chance to chisel away at this furthermore. Harris. Get it over to Small. It's star on star as Hawkins retreats. Now it's Gasson that switches on.
You can tell Small likes this.
Small spinning, sweeps it through the double team. Harris up and under. Can't get enough English at the end, though. You hear Coach DeVries yelling, get a stop, get a stop. It's been the defense that's been fueling the offense here in the second half. McDaniel spinning, nearly lost the orange, 15 to shoot.
Got the mismatch with Hawkins and Harris.
Small swipes at it. Hawkins stepping through. He's short, gets the offensive rebound, but then fouled on the second effort. And Coach DeVries talking about just getting a body on players to get a box out.
And it felt like Amani Hansberry went to go box out before he had an opportunity to go get the ball. And it was almost one of those times where you were stuck in no man's land. Sometimes just go get it or go tip it away. And I appreciate the fundamentals of going to box out first.
The foul was on Hansberry. It's his second. A reminder, 4 fouls each on Andre and Okani, the other front court players. Still a lot of time left in this game. And it's been Hawkins that's been able to draw so many fouls and put the pressure on the rotation for West Virginia.
And Kansas State offensively, if you're stuck, if you're the guard, if you're the point guard for Kansas State, I know I would think about that all the time. If I don't have a good shot in the first couple seconds, I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going inside to Hawkins or Gasson with a smaller player guarding them.
Hawkins with the defense, gets the stop on Yesufu. And then Yesufu, a foul about 45 feet away from the basket.
Not many 6'10" guys that can bait a smaller guard like that. Hawkins on Yesufu, times it up, no foul, good clean block, and then initiates the fast break at 6'10".
And Yesufu will check out, and Mike, you see a situation like that, and for Coach DeVries, it's what is the shot selection when you're coming down the floor in a situation where every possession means so much?
Well, shot selection usually determines a team's IQ. It's not just about, hey, we got to run our offense. You want to show me a team or a player's IQ, show me their shot selection and how they're getting good looks within the flow of their offense. And that's it. That's the thing. It goes back to our conversation. If it's not Javon Small making a play, another player doesn't have to just go out and score, but there needs to be strong cuts. There needs to be great screens. There needs to be someone, 1 or 2 guys crashing the offensive glass. Be a thief on offense. We always talk about being a thief on defense. You can be a thief on offense too.
A near errant pass as Powell has to control it, and it's Small with the rock, 12 to shoot. Tenor trying to feed it in. Hansberry, the collapse on him as Jones comes over. Tenor left open, corner 3, in and out.
Hansberry actually had an open look. He was so off balance, he had to pass it out of that double team.
Gasson poked at by Harris, and that'll be Kansas State ball with 19 on the shot clock.
Hansberry kicks it out because it was a good look from 3, but he didn't realize that his weak side defender actually left him and had an open look.
Hassan curling. He's been rather quiet here in the second half, and Kansas State now 1 for 5 from 3 in the second half. They were 5 of 9 in the first half. Hansberry working against Jones, cuts through 2, short at the rim. And now you see Hansberry kind of limping down the field. Picked up the court as Hassan lets a 3 go. Hansberry able to get the rebound on one leg. So you've got Hansberry with a bit of a busted wheel at the moment.
Nothing is smooth offensively for West Virginia right now.
Small has to pick up the dribble. It's 8 to shoot. Hansberry, step back 3. Nearly knocked it down. You can see clearly a little bit of discomfort with that foot.
Now, I'd go right at Hansberry. You got Gasson on the right block.
Game has devolved into a bit of a rock fight the last few trips. 9 combined misses. Gasson down low, puts it into that, and scoops up the foul once again. It's a 17-point lead for Kansas State.
Had a feeling they would go to Gasson with Hansberry limping a little bit. Nice recognition by Jerome Tang in Kansas State. Good finish. Wildcats up.
So many things on the energy end for Kansas State.
There's about 4 or 5 plays in this game that won't show up in the box sheet that Jones did that were winning plays. When you talk about getting yourself back on track after a 6-game losing streak, having someone like Max Jones to not just score, it's not just about rebounding and distributing the basketball, but he's made 3 or 4 hustle plays that are winning plays for Jerome Tang and his staff.
Toby Okani back into this game with 4 fouls, and you really got the sense that the offense for West Virginia started to bog down when he went to the bench because he was really the only one cutting off a lot of the action with Small.
Well, he's not just a great cutter, he's an excellent screener. And there's something to be said for having a player on the court that is always looking to screen as hard as he can to get teammates open. That, that's part of spacing, that's part of continuity.
Andre and Okani both on the floor for West Virginia. They each have 4 fouls apiece. You have to be mindful of every screen, every hustle play towards a loose ball. Harris, 10 to shoot, picks up the dribble.
Bad
a little
spacing.
too close, yes. Okani. The trap from Gasson. Harris has a clean look over Hawkins. And Andre had to be careful. He was on the floor there for a second, but excellent hustle by the Mountaineers. Okani floater, it's good.
That ball go over the backboard?
Fans were not happy about whatever happened over the last 15 seconds down there, and I'm with you. It might have gone over the backboard. Some people thought it should have been out of bounds. 16-point lead for Kansas State, under 6:30 left in this game. C.J. Jones elevating to the rim.
One of the impressive things in this game from Kansas State is every time West Virginia looked to punch back, Kansas State was there to absorb it and then make a play on the offensive end.
The law firm of Jones and Jones, 8 of 12 with 19 combined points. They've been sensational.
Dropping litigation over here.
It's my closing argument in this one, essentially. Okani swatted out of here by Gasson, and it rolls out for Harris. Hawkins, what a pass down the floor. Gasson with the finish. So 5:41 put on the clock, and the Wildcats will pick up full court. Small with 16 points, leading scorer in the Big 12. Where does the offense come from for West Virginia?
Javon Small. Has to be Javon Small. It's just takeover time.
Okani to Harris. Harris sees 2. Powell, pump fake. Powell sets his feet, lets a 3 fly. Andre, excellent offensive rebound and put back for him.
How much did they miss that when Andre was on the bench with that, when he got that 4th foul? You got the kick out for the 3. Andre just outworking Gasson, which that doesn't happen very often. Very few players in the Big 12 can outwork Gasson.
Now the Mountaineers will deploy the press. They've got to be careful. Okani on the baseline. That's a jump ball. Possession, Kansas State. Crowd wanted a foul.
And if you're Kansas State, you got to feel that. There's real no point guard on the floor. True point guard, Doug McDaniel checks in now. You've got to feel that. You know the full court press is coming. West Virginia has the speed and the athletes to do that. You're going to have to be prepared to break the press for the rest of the 5 minutes and 10 seconds of this game.
A reminder that Andre and Okani each have 4 fouls.
Oh,
They go over the top. McDaniel gets behind the secondary and scoops it in for 2.
Who made that pass? Max Jones.
Small to Okani. He was held by C.J. Jones. Here's a simple go route for you.
How about the set design? And that was an absolute football go route. That was a phenomenal pass. Smooth catch, too, over the shoulder catch.
Hey, you've got the AFC Championship game on CBS, of course.
There we
tomorrow,
go.
Chiefs hosting the Bills. A little bit of a warm-up here in Manhattan.
Who do you got?
It's hard to go against Kansas City at home. I know Josh Allen and the Bills are trying to break through, and that's going to be a goaltend as Harris was able to break through the defense. But I know for you and Rothstein, you pure basketball junkies,
That's
you
right.
pay attention to the pigskin.
That's right. Is there a game tomorrow?
There is a game tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Kansas City, that defense of the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo, played for him when he was in St. Louis. He's got things dialed in for that team. About 2-hour drive from here, and you felt the energy all throughout the state.
Ooh, that was danger zone. You've got a sizable lead. Everything has to be perfect. You got to keep it simple here.
Hawkins for 3. Off the front. Now you figure West Virginia's got to be much quicker here in the half court as far as getting their shots up.
Not just shots, but you got to start thinking, you know, how many threes can we look at cleanly getting?
A reminder that Small had 12 points in the final 2 minutes against Iowa State. Small for 3, right on cue. Cuts the lead to 15 with just over 4 minutes left.
19 for Javon Small.
West Virginia just 3 of 18 from outside and a 5-second count against Max Jones.
You have to have that internal clock in your head. You've got 2 timeouts.
Small to inbound. Small's got to get it up. Goes over the top, and the lob miscalculated and a turnover. McDaniel pushes it down the floor. Hawkins, that is blocked. And they're going to count the bucket. And so a goaltend as Andre was in just a little too late.
Kansas State trying to make plays in transition. Oh, it's pretty close, Jordan Kent.
That kissed the backboard first.
You're right.
Wildcats with the lead.
I thought this was really close, Jordan. You didn't think it was that close? I'm calling you out right now. That was
I want to see
really
the backboard
close.
angle from up above, because the question is, does this ball get to the backboard in time? You can't really see there from the padding getting in the way. Was Andre there on time? I know you have a lot of experience, Mike, of blocking shots off the backboard, correct?
That's the second disrespectful thing that you've said to me this afternoon. But you know, you're not wrong.
Here's the look. Does the rotation change? No,
That's
you
a
are
block.
right. That is a clean
that is
block.
Absolutely a
and
block.
I am mightily incorrect.
That's also a
And
foul on
foul
Powell. Should have been a foul,
That is
but
clean.
that's a clean block.
Shades of Tayshaun Prince against Reggie Miller right at the last second. That is an absolutely clean block. So
I'm just really happy, first of all, that I'm right and you're wrong.
that's the normal occurrence, though, I would say.
That's the nicest thing you've said to me all game. Wow. Trying to cover up for your mistakes.
So it was a clean block from Andre, which waves off the basket. So we're chatting with the officials right now. We have another look. We're looking for the backboard shot again that we can look at. You can't go through the backboard is what we're being told. You can't use that look to review this. So here's the look that we have. And we're talking to the officials right now. They're looking at the angle where we felt it was a clean block. In our opinion, we aren't wearing the stripes to make this call, though.
There are only a certain amount of views that the referees have. We have different cameras than the rest do. That look is a block.
Yes.
That's absolutely a block by Andre.
So the officials continuing to look at different angles. So go through here, Mike O'Donnell, what the officials are allowed to review and how many looks they're able to take at times, because this is a very close play.
you could go back and review goaltending. One of the best things to do, well, like what I've learned of talking with referees, if it's a 50-50 play, you call it goaltending because you can always go back and review it if you make a call from a goaltending perspective. You make the goaltending call, you can go back, review it, and you can change it if you need to, or the call stands. But our angle, our camera, what we see, that is a clean block by Andre.
So that's what they were saying, is that it's a clean block by Andre. And it's clear from that angle, from our vantage point of what we're seeing.
Absolutely, absolutely. But what you can't do, that was a foul on Powell.
Yes.
Powell fouled Hawkins, but you can't go back and then change that and add that foul call. That's the only difference there.
So the basket was waved off. Keep in mind, St. Mary's at Washington State will be streaming on CBS Sports app and cbssports.com/CBSSN. That tip-off at 8:10 Eastern will get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game. So O'Connor, he'll try the three, no good, and a rebound to C.J. Jones, and then he gets fouled. We'll see who they whistle this on, and that's going to be against Harris.
By the way,
that'll be a second.
The one thing that I need to say is that you and I here on the sideline, we cannot influence the game at all. We can't tell the refs what's going on. We can't tell the refs what we see. It's not our job to be a part of the game. We're just commenting on what is happening.
Correct.
I think it's an important thing that refs can't come to us and say, hey, Jordan, what did you think? What do you see? You can't give an answer. I can't give an answer.
Nope, and that is why I just looked at you the entire time and said, in our opinion, Mike, that is a block, and we clearly aren't wearing the stripes, and it's one of those situations where they come over and have a conversation with you and want to obviously continue to keep things informed about what's happening on a review like that.
Yeah, they can talk to me, but I can't respond to them at all. I'm not going to say anything.
16-point lead for Kansas State with 3:30 left. O'Connor in the corner with Hawkins defending, whips it over, and here's a three, and coming off the bench is Jake Auer, who let that one fly for West Virginia. That'll be Kansas State ball.
Yeah, Auer's in there just to catch and shoot from three. He's a three-point shooter. And that's your job right now. I mean, if you're climbing back, trying to climb back in this, 3:19 left, you have to start letting go. Clean looks from three. Got a steal.
Harris with the steal, but then bounced it on the sideline.
Each team has 2 timeouts left. Possession arrow to West Virginia. If you're stuck, if you're unsure, you call the timeout. You have it, use it.
Obviously, no reason for Kansas State to make any type of foolish plays here. You've got the comfortable cushion.
Andre and O'Connor still with those 4 fouls.
Hawkins trying to post up. Wildcats whip it around.
They're trying to go inside to Hawkins. Good defense.
8 to shoot. Hawkins lost it off his thigh, and that'll be West Virginia ball.
Definitely some contact there, Jordan. Oh, that's a foul. That is 100% a foul on Sincere Harris.
That's what Hawkins is saying as he gets tossed to the floor here. Small with 19 points, 6 of 14, 2 of 5 from 3. This time trying to draw some contact, and the miss is put back in. Now it's a 14-point lead as McDaniel races down the floor. He'll reset it.
We got,
and that's going to be Max Jones,
is bleeding, yeah. Big 12 basketball. That's what it is.
Hey, no blood, no foul either in that situation.
Javon Small trying to draw the foul. That's O'Connor with the tip in. That's how he got hurt. So it took a shot to the face.
Yeah, from the elbow, Small.
Yeah, unintentional.
Yep. So now they're going to review the foul here as you see Jones being tended to, and How about the performance from both Joneses?
Yeah.
Max Jones with 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and then C.J. Jones coming off the bench with 10 points. And
this should be a quick review, Jordan, because that is all that is Javon Small going up to make a basketball play. If there's a flagrant or intentional foul called, that means that there's a non-basketball play that occurred, and I didn't see it on that possession.
the St. Mary's Washington State game is underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over.
But going back to what you were saying before we were discussing what was being reviewed, you are absolutely correct. Both Joneses, Max and C.J. Jones, have been excellent. They both had 10 points. Max Jones has 6 rebounds. C.J. Jones has 5 rebounds. Throw in a couple of assists for Max Jones. Those are the plays, those X-factor guys that make Coleman Hawkins, Doug McDaniel, and David Gasson better. When those guys play well, also the pressure release from a player like Brendan Hawson to get more looks, it's paramount for their success.
And defensively, they've been sensational. West Virginia came in averaging just under 72 points a game. Here they are at 51 with just over 2 minutes remaining. 5 to shoot. McDaniel, long 3. Falls short, and Jones taps it to Jones. Hawkins lowers the shoulder and goes right into the body of Powell.
You got a good look defensively if you're West Virginia. Just couldn't come up with the rebound. That was Small trying to box out Jones. Gets the bloody lip. Stops it. Rocky style. Comes back in. Gets the offensive rebound. Keeps the possession alive.
Would you expect anything less from Max Jones? As we talked to Jerome Tang, he said he's always played with a chip on his shoulder. Started off in Tampa. Then went to Cal State Fullerton. Say he just keeps getting better. And we've seen that just in the 2-week span that we were last here.
He wanted to play on the biggest stage. He was barely recruited out of high school, goes to Division II Tampa, crushes it there, then goes to Cal State Fullerton, became their best player, and wanted to play at the biggest stage, and he's getting his opportunity right now.
Small has to fire and knocks that one down, and a quick timeout by West Virginia. So it's the third 3 of the game for Small, who's now up to 22 points.
Cover against Colorado, then they lose against Houston, and they have that monster win versus Iowa State.
Jones elevates and finishes at the cup. Max Jones now with 12 points. And just a rock-solid performance by him this evening. O'Connor fading away, tries to go window. Harris knifes right in for the offensive rebound putback. Now you wonder, West Virginia, when you start fouling, and there it is with Harris. Harris now picks up his 3rd foul.
One thing that Kansas State has done exceptionally well in this game is they have broken the press to score. They haven't just broken the press to break it. I mean, they are looking to be the aggressor. The passing, the forward passing ahead to teammates, been excellent. Clinic worthy.
To your point, you were talking about what do you have to do to close out this game. They have stayed aggressive the entire night. They have never once started to become passive on the offensive end.
How many games have we watched or played in or broadcast where the team has a lead and then all of a sudden they take their foot off the gas pedal?
Here's the upcoming schedule for Kansas State, and some difficult games against Iowa State, Kansas, of course, and this is a team that continues to play better. They've got length. They can defend. It's some opportunities coming up in the next one on CBS Sports Network against Oklahoma State.
This is just the Big 12.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a gauntlet.
It's just a monster. There's nothing you can do about it. That's what you signed up for.
Both free throws good, extends the lead back to 14. Powell trying to use the screen from O'Connor. Feeds it to him, O'Connor, nice finish. O'Connor, West Virginia not giving up, he's got 13. Just over a minute left, and the steal nearly saved by Tenor. That's McDaniel, that'll escort her down the floor. Tenner trying to get the foul before about 10 seconds came off the clock in half court there.
Anytime it appears that West Virginia gets a small gift, something happens, right? You get the steal, full court press opportunity, but just can't come up with it. O'Connie cannot come up with the pass.
It's been a double-digit lead for Kansas State in the entire second half, and right now O'Connie being 10-2 near his bench with a little bit of blood on his arm and jersey. As Doug McDaniel had 11 points in the first half, was quieter in the second half, but the way he helped Kansas State just get off to a start in this game set the tone immediately for the Wildcats.
It was his tone defensively, I thought. It wasn't just him being aggressive offensively. And we've got blood on almost every single jersey here.
That's Auer now. That'll jog to the bench. And this is the Big 12 for you.
Gotta love it.
Nothing pretty about it.
No, it's a rock fight every single game.
Managers will certainly have a bit of a pickle trying to get that blood out of the white jersey. Always challenging.
A lot of time.
Is that what you go with?
I don't know. I wasn't a manager. The unsung heroes of college basketball,
daily
the managers.
laundry advice from Mike O'Donnell.
You don't want me doing that.
It's McDaniel.
I'm still hanging mine out to dry.
McDaniel hits the second free throw, and under 50 seconds left. Kansas State has been able to maintain this lead. They were just 7-4 in games in which they led in the second half. And not too far away from possibly putting this one away. Powell, the drive. Gasson packs it. And Hawkins will bring it down. 6-second differential between shot and game clock. It's a career-high 4 blocks for David Gasson. So we'll hand the victory to Kansas State. That'll move West Virginia to 4-4 in conference play for Kansas State. Now look at the company you're with in the Big 12 standings. You rattle off a couple of games here and there, and all of a sudden it changes the entire complexion of your conference season.
No question about it. And by the way, look at number 3 right there in the Big 12 standings, Arizona. They figured it out. They're 7-1 in conference. When they had Krivas go out with an injury, it felt like, you know, the wheels were going to come off. He's such a talented front court player. But they've tightened the lineup. They played a little bit more difference. They've beaten West Virginia recently, UCF, Baylor. Coming off back-to-back wins against Oklahoma State and Colorado.
Harris Elizavich will check in, number 22 for West Virginia, as Javon Small will head to the bench. His night is over. Small with 22 points, 7 of 16 from the field. Harris with the land. And Kansas State. And Coach DeVries saying no fouls. And Mike O'Donnell, for the first time in 2025, you can say it's a Wildcat W. As they pick up the win here, it snaps the 6-game losing streak. And their first win since December 30th. Once again, our final score is 73-69.